ChatGPT, the fastest product to ever reach 1 million users. And sure, you probably know how to access ChatGPT, but how can you actually use it? You see, ChatGPT isn't just some other search engine. It is a large language model that is trained on almost all the written content on the internet. And you might ask, well, how is that different than a search engine? Well, it's a good question, and without diving too deep into the science and code behind it all, the answer's kind of in the name. So the GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer, and a transformer is a type of deep learning algorithm that, in this case, essentially tries to predict the next upcoming word based upon the context, the relationship between the words around it, and of course, all of that previously written content. So with that in mind, how can you use ChatGPT? Well, it all begins in one place, and that is the prompt. This is the information I give the model to have it generate a response. You have to think of ChatGPT at this moment kind of like a blank slate. It can answer your questions, but it doesn't really know what you want or anything about you, and it doesn't know how it should answer your questions. And sure, I can certainly come in and type in something like, how do I make pizza? And it will definitely generate the result of how to make pizza. It's essentially like going to Google, clicking the top recipe, and just distilling the information of that recipe and giving it back instead of, the story of why pizza making is important, all the different types of crust, what kind of toppings you should make, how do you make a pizza? What ChatGPT can do, if you let it, is act as a sparring partner. Think of ChatGPT as that smartest person you know on whatever topic that they're an expert at, except that they know every single topic, they're extremely patient, and completely willing to help you. That sounds pretty good, right? Let me show you how it's done. So let's play a game. Let's say we have a stopover in Paris and approximately half a day in the city. Let's say you love museums and you want to know which ones you should visit. Well, I could do something like ask ChatGPT to list all the museums around Paris. And while that's semi-helpful, it's not really using ChatGPT to the extent that you could. Remember, the more context, the better. So let's try again. Now I'm going to feed it in this prompt that I wrote earlier. I want you to act as a travel guide. I will write you my location and you will suggest the place to visit near my location. In some cases, I will also give you the type of places I will visit. You can also suggest me places of a similar type that are close to that first location. My first suggestion is, I'm in Paris and I want to visit only the museums. So what we did here was we gave ChatGPT a role so it can reflect on all of that information it's gathered and kind of condense it into its person. So now it's an expert of Paris, it's an expert of museums, and now it knows that it should make these suggestions within these kind of confounds of the role that we gave it. So let's see what happens. So now we're getting some excellent information. In a sense, it's ranking the choices and it's providing more information about different museums, which may help us refine our choices. But let's go for something a little more interesting. Let's ask it for an actual itinerary for our day. Let's type in something like this. Create me an itinerary for a 5-hour museum tour using public transportation and walking. So we enter this in, and let's see what we get. So it's telling me, start at the Louvre Museum, take the metro to Palais Royal Musée du Louvre station and spend 2 hours exploring the museum's vast collection of art, including the Mona Lisa and the Venus de Milo. Now, it gives me step-by-step what I should do. Now we should go to the Museum d'Orsay. Tells me what metro to take a walk along the Seine River. This is great, right? And now we're visiting the Centre Georges Pompidou, and then we're going back to our starting point. So I gave it the confounds that I'm in Paris, that I like museums, and I have 5 hours, and it actually planned a day for me. And now what I can do is actually look into this a bit more, see if these places are actually what I want to visit. Maybe I want to spend 1 more hour there, 1 less hour there. It can't know that, right? So use this as kind of a structure, though, of how to speak to ChatGPT. Okay, for this next example, remember I said that ChatGPT is good at kind of being the sparring partner? And that is what OpenAI wanted to do with ChatGPT. It actually is a derivative of one of their other models, GPT-3, which is a bit larger. I mean, it's not so made to have this back and forth chat. ChatGPT is really good at this. And I will use it now as kind of a sparring partner for a business idea. And you can kind of see how our conversation evolves and how you can interact with ChatGPT. So again, I'm just going to plug in a prompt that I wrote earlier. I want you to act as an advertiser. You will create a campaign to promote a product or service of your choice, and you will choose a target audience, develop key messages and slogans, select the media channels for promotion, and decide on any additional activities needed to reach your goals. My first suggestion is, I need help creating an advertising campaign for a new type of energy drink targeting young adults aged 18 to 30. Now you can see ChatGPT, I love it. Sure, I can help you with that. Okay, so you can already see it's kind of generating this target audience. So it takes what I said, young adults 18 to 30, but now looking for healthy and natural energy boost. So you can see it's using natural. Okay, our energy drinks made with natural ingredients. It's a great choice for those who have a active lifestyle and need to stay energized. I love this, the slogans. Stay energized naturally. Shows you what kind of media channels you should focus on, maybe in the order that you should focus on them. I love additional activities. So partnering with fitness influencers and gyms, I mean, that's right on. Having a launch event, offering special promotions. This is great. And again, it says this is a basic campaign. To make it more effective, it's important to conduct market research. But you can already see how you can begin to use this and craft it to something that is really valuable and useful for you. So let's follow up. Who would the top 3 competitors be, and how could we differentiate ourselves from them? Okay, so now it says the top 3 competitors could be Red Bull, Monster, and Rockstar. Sounds plausible. And it says to differentiate ourselves, we should focus again on natural ingredients. Exactly. So it kind of keeps the concept that we talked about earlier. It says that we should make sure that we don't contain artificial flavors or colors. Again, it's made with natural ingredients. And this is great. So healthier alternative. So it's really showing us how we can differentiate ourselves from these other energy drinks, which don't focus on natural ingredients. And this could be the unique selling point. And it says, yeah, finally we could advertise as kind of promoting this active lifestyle. So you probably get the point now of how you can have this back and forth conversation with ChatGPT, and it actually retains all of that information that you previously chatted about beforehand and utilizes it in the new conversation. So this is a great way, and it's one of the major strengths of ChatGPT. So I think that the main 2 takeaways here are, one, that if you give ChatGPT a role, it performs that role very, very well. And these 2 examples I gave you of the travel advisor and the business advisor are just 2 of the coolest 10 prompts I found, the coolest 10 role prompts that I found on the internet. And I actually made a separate video that just goes through these 10 roles. If you like this style, go ahead and check out that video. I think you're going to love it. And the second main takeaway is that you can really utilize this kind of back and forth exchange of a chat with ChatGPT. So think of it as someone that you can speak to that completely understands in real English, in words. It's not a search engine. You don't just type in energy drink and see what pops up. You really describe your situation and dive deeply into it. And it really can provide some great resource for you. Also, I put the prompts that I used today down in the description below, so you can just copy and paste those and try them out for yourselves. And while you're down there, go ahead and like and subscribe. That helps me out a ton. If you have any questions, just leave them in the chat down there, not ChatGPT, the chat down there. All right. The chat down there. See you next time.